Shabbat Shalom and welcome to this week's installation of Abyssal Torah. Korach is the parsha that we're reading this week, and it's deeply disturbing because we are telling the story of a man who is physically related to Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, and decides to challenge his authority on the basis that he feels entitled or privileged because he's related to Moses. Who are you, Moses? I'm as good as you, if not better. Why shouldn't I lead the people? Why should you be the one to do it? He challenges authority, basically shaming Moses in front of the people, as well as challenging God's authority, considering God was the one that elected Moses from the very outset. But Korach has this feeling of entitlement, that he is the one who should have been chosen. And according to the Talmud, he was an extraordinarily rich person. A rich person that had gotten great wealth when he escaped from Egypt, deciding that this was his entitlement as well, taking most of the treasures that had belonged to his great-great-great-great-grandfather, Joseph, and that he was escaping with them. Moses has no choice because his authority is being challenged and potentially usurped by his cousin. Interestingly, there's two people that are following alongside Korach, their names are Datan and Aviram. And Moses goes specifically to them and tries to convince them of the wrongness of Korach's ways, and that by following Korach, they're doing damage to themselves, they're doing damage to their families, they're doing damage to the people of Israel as well, by causing strife amongst the people, by causing dissension. We all know people like this. People who are, as we're, despots that want to say, why them, why not me? And then we have all of the tag-alongs, the people who follow in the wake that say, yeah, let's follow him because he's shouting louder than everybody else, because his speech sounds so convincing, while Moses, the stutterer, well, he's not so convincing after all. But Moses goes after Datan v'Aviram and says to them, look, what you're doing is wrong. Let me talk to you about the wrongness of it, that you're going not just against me, but you're going against the people. You're creating such strife and dissension amongst the people of Israel. And above all, it's against God's will. Moses goes to Datan v'Aviram and convinces them that they are wrong, and they dissociate themselves from Korach. I'm pointing this out because sometimes we tend to bundle people up into neat packages and tie them up and say, well, they're all that. And we dissociate ourselves from people who are in that quarter because we're not like them. Democrats may do that to Republicans. Republicans may do that to Democrats. Jews may do that to Gentiles. Gentiles do it to Jews. We tend to lump people all together rather than take them individually for what they are and try to talk to them as real human beings. Because when we put them all in a pile and we say they're all the other, we have nothing to talk about. And we basically convince them that they've got nothing to talk about with us either. We need to continually be on guard against our prejudices, against putting people into categories that they don't rightly belong in. But if we talk to them civilly, we talk to them with great earnestness and intent and honestness, well, we may in fact find their humanity, and they may discover their humanity, and we may discover that we are of one mind after all. A great lesson coming from the pages of our past. To remember, to give everybody a second chance, to look at them wholly and fully as a real human being, not simply as an aggregate, a part of the opposition. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and wishing you peace of heart and opportunities to make peace between people, as did Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher. Shabbat Shalom.